From the savannah to the Midland and the Atlantic, Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. Ambazonia rise.
Dear Ambazonians on the home front and diaspora.
Dear Ambazonia freedom fighters in the home front and in the diaspora.
The Ethics Commission of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is coming out to alert you that it is becoming more and more evident that the former British Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonians, will soon emerge as the newest nation in the world.
We are calling on all of us to start preparing to receive Ambazonia as parents prepare to receive their firstborn child. Malcolm X said, tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. We are already very educated, talented, and very rich in natural resources. Do all this guarantee a safe and prosperous Ambazonia? The answer is an emphatic no. Theodore Roosevelt said, to educate a person in the mind but not in morals is to educate a menace in society.
Ambazonians, it is time to start planning to restore our cultural and social values that characterize us as a people of good repute. Before our Republic to Cameroon invasion, we were respectful of each other, of the law, and of our culture. We earned our living through honest hard work, making clean money for ourselves.
Our values helped us to maximize the benefits of our natural resources as well as our human resources. Southern Cameroons were serene and clean, simply beautiful in spirit and in the physical. We all long for such a place to call home, and we can make it happen by God's grace.
Our local government areas and counties, are you prepared? Do you have an ethics commission in your local government areas, counties to serve as a moral compass for you? Do you have a copy of the Ambazonia Ethics Code and the Constitution?
All arms of government, do you have an ethics agency? Departments of DSS, HSS, Communications and IT, Education, DHACM, DFA and DEINR. Do you have ethics agency to serve as a moral compass for your departments?
Ambazonians, you need to know your rights by reading the Ethics Code and the Constitution.
Shame unethical behavior and reward good behavior in your communities. Hold leaders accountable. Be the watchdog of your communities and governments. See something, say something.
The church, you are the main research center of moral principles with the responsibility of moralizing the society. How effective are you outside the church building?
Maya Angelou said, when you know better, then you do better. Ambazonians, watch ethics for an emerging Ambazonia every Friday at 10 p.m. Amba time.
Exclusively on ABC Amba TV. Stay tuned.
You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amba TV. The voice of Ambazonia. Stay tuned.
Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. When Ambazonian lawyers and teachers spoke in 2016 to advocate for justice, they were met with cruelty from the brutal regime in Yaoundé. For decades, La République du Cameroon has denied that the minority Southern Cameroons, criminally absorbed into a failed union, were being marginalized. Today, they can't hide it anymore, not with Undaunted on board, and I can tell you, never again. While on Equinox Television, a member of the SDF, Barrister Sapi Lavoisia, enumerated a litany of the injustice meted on Southern Cameroonians over that past 60 years within the Cameroon colonial construct. On the high note of tonight's Undaunted, we will be talking about Award 22, the new level for victory. You do not want to miss 1 minute. But first, let's get the prime headline.
Prime headlines. While on Equinox Television, a member of the SDF, Barrister Sapi Lavoisier, enumerated a litany of the injustice meted on Southern Cameroonians. Is Honorable Wiba another betrayal? It's high time for Wiba and cohorts to know that only with an interim government shall we give the enemy the real hard knock. Choayaba's boys at it again. ADF hangman in Batibo LGA, the self-styled General Efang today, May 24th, with his group of kidnappers and ransom collectors, went on the rampage again. Exclusive, Cyrus Ngo tried to steal 163 million franc CFA from the accounts of the port of Douala. Today, the 24th of May, 2022, the Bui warriors under the command of Major General Tokendu sneaked past enemy lines into the Colonial Company headquarters in Kumbo, Bui County to engage La République du Cameroon terrorists. Our 22 nationwide launch event next Saturday, 28 May from 8 p.m. The former FECAFOOT Secretary General prohibited from leaving Cameroon.
Today, the 24th of May 2022, the Bui warriors under the command of Major General Tok and Do sneaked past enemy lines into the Colonial Company headquarters in Kombo Bui County to engage La Republique du Cameroon terrorists. It is on that note, break first served, welcome to Land of No Return, a caption by the Bui security team that will begin the full briefings of tonight's Undaunted. It is 8:30 p.m. in Abagua and Boyer. I am Oni Okbala and I will be dissecting this segment with Star Smart. Good evening, Star, and welcome.
Thank you. I am Undaunted and I'm waxing strong. Thank you so much, Oni. Dear esteemed viewers, once again, good evening. According to the Boyer security team, an improvised explosive device IED blew up some of the terrorists that were patrolling the area while ambush teams waited in place for their backup teams. The Boyer warriors tactically maneuvered and circled the area, hitting them so hard at multiple fronts. The gun battle lasted for an hour at least, with multiple dead and injured amongst the enemy's ranks.
Most of those terrorists deleted are part of the team known for constantly harassing, kidnapping, and extorting from our civilian population. Those terrorists still lucky to be alive should heed to the call from the Bui warriors to hand their weapons at the nearest Ambazonia Restoration Forces ARF's camps for rehabilitation if they wish to stay alive. This is reported by the Bui security team.
The courage of the Ambazonian Restoration Forces knows no limit. The Ambazonian Restoration Forces in Kumba local government area sanctioned DDR traitors, ex-Amba fighters, now turned back legs in La Republique du Cameroon's disarmament, demobilization and reintegration centers, DDR4 in ARF's dragnets. The first victim caught today, May 24th, and sent immediately to join Ekema was ex-General Ten who, together with some of his accomplices, Clovis and Godi, have been infiltrating the ARFs and leaking information to the enemy La Republique du Cameroon genocidal military. As Ten joins his ancestors today, the ARFs in Barombi camp have placed death warrants on the heads of Clovis and Godi, plus all other sellouts and blacklegs in their local government area. Do you want to be sure of the details? I'd like you to watch this video.
So when I don't see how we 1010 you program take a end on a 1010 this so down a almighty 1010 we begin work with La Republic, the way gun prove the Jake show that say me Amba they made it come up for bush. Yes. Boy, your own don't finish. As now see so you don't die. We catching a yesterday, we got open. And that I always sleep down so I see. Obi no say no, as go open so. Them can pass, them one use road. So be lay wa ambush catch it. And that as I see 10 that. Remain a Clovis and Godzi for Nake. Godzi for Nake. Clovis una remain. All the other small church and be the way they are around. No how the casual one them. Be una any una go. Any una go na no say will take una. Anyhow una go. Will take una. Now see no. Attend that. Me a family them from Marumba, me they see you, me they know say no. That picking don't go. Yes, we don't send you overboard. We don't throw you overboard. Yeah, no, 10 you face that. People they way they know you. People they way they know you, where they know the 10, me they look you fine, and that you don't buy. You don't die, and that. And I see fine now. I focus the camera fine for your face, no, I really see. That. And I see fine now. 10, and that too. Yes. Only frapping, only frapping. Yes. You don't talk oil, cocoa.
Joe Ayabal's boys are at it again. It would appear they just enjoy the act of distractions and doing the dirty job of the oppressor. What do you think, sir?
It's simply unfortunate. The ADF hangman in Batibo local government area, the self-styled General Efang, today, May 24th, with his group of kidnappers and ransom collectors, went on the rampage again. Efang and his gang seized an automatic car from one of the elites named Mr. Nkweti, and being unable to control it, rolled down a slope and swept some 2 kids who were rushed to the hospital under very critical conditions.
The seized car was well damaged. You'll watch the video very shortly to make the assessment for yourself. And the sad part of it all is that the situation of its owner is unknown. Chances of survival of the 2 children knocked down are very slim. The ADF hangman Efang has been notorious in Batubo local government area as a kidnapper. Not just a kidnapper, a rapist and a bully, and has to his credit lots and lots of atrocious acts, notably the fact and second killing in Guzang, the burning of the terminal plant in Kuwait and killing of the Prince of Kuwait.
We must never stop highlighting the fact that Efang masterminded the killing of General Ivo. He has more often than not used his good knowledge of the terrain to infiltrate the Amazonian Restoration Forces, causing a lot of havoc within the ranks, and has never shot a single bullet against the common enemy, La République du Cameroon colonial military. Today's sad occurrence is just one in too many orchestrated by this ADF hangman Efang, and calling him a general would be an overstatement.
What's yet to add? The ADF practically beheads Ambazonians on camera, rape, kidnap, and so on and so forth. Just watch this very sad video for yourself, and right after that, we will take some questions from the Secretary of State for Self-Defense and National Security, Francis Chin.
People, so wonderful to happen to do. Na pakweti for basi moto this way, General Efang. They can seize a motor for Samgong. They run with the motor to go towards Guzang. Since the motor is automatic, they don't have to drive the motor. Just for this here for Barazan, they don't jam two people for them to be unconscious when they be there for road. Now the motor is, it don't scatter for it be beyond repair. Just see the scene. You basically, when we talk, say this Amba, this thing will cause you more harm than good. Man, you know, it's terrible. It's really terrible. Just imagine. Now, Pakweti, Motodis, where they come up for Palace, River Samungong Square. General Efang and the Pikide, they seize the motor, can't get accident for Barazan Hill. They don't jam some 2 Pikide with the worker for road terribly. They don't carry and go hospital. Mujo pray, we don't even know whether the Pikide go survive or not. Well, it's a pity. It's a pity. The situation not barely look good, eh? Na Pakwete moto this. Before runner. I hear for Barazan this. The motor can tumble for day. Jump. Innocent people the block have a foot. They pass. Just imagine, just when see what to pass through. Very bad situation. Very bad situation. Now to General Efang and your boys, they can't do them. Just imagine. Paco to come up for Palace, Young Power Ford and other notables. The surrender for some gong seize Imoto. So it's a pity. We pray and I say the people were German for this, he made even survive. 2 people jam them. To the motor. Well, we count on God. Count on God.
All right, and as usual, we have our news director ready to make some analysis. Mr. Paddy, are you there?
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me, Oni?
Yeah, very loud and clear.
Can you hear me? That's amazing.
Yes, very loud and clear.
It's unfortunate I wasn't supposed to talk now, but the SOS for self-defense and national security should be connected in the next 30 seconds. As soon as he's connected, please let me know. You have just watched the video. What is there to say? Like you said, that's something we We have always reported about the atrocious behavior of the ADF of Joe Ayaba on the ground. They function like the ISIS terrorist group. They behead people on camera. They slaughter Amazonians. Their fighters rape our women and daughters and wives. They beat and kill Amazonians. They kidnap Amazonians. They steal from Amazonia. They are very controversial in everything. Whatever they do is very senseless. I want to move a little bit out of topic to mention what the president said over the weekend when it comes to their uh, I would say uh, immature nature, even when they are purportedly doing diplomacy, insensitive statements in diplomacy that you do not make public for propaganda to deceive the weak-minded. You would have the Cho Ayaba's group, even in the diaspora, making preposterous statements to things that must not be said. And there's a lot happening in the diaspora with the interim government that you wouldn't have anybody come on the media to make statements because of what gain if you make a statement public and then in the background you are not making any reasonable achievement. It's senseless. So you have just seen a video there of an innocent civilian, most probably most of the denizens in Moramo, precisely in Batibo where that incident occurred, are farmers. That should be a car he is using to farm. You see the roads, these are farm to market roads. And considering all the difficulties people are facing, I would say it is unfortunate. The ADF happens to be a curse to the Amazonian nation at this very critical time, and it's quite unfortunate. If the SOS is there, please you could just bring him right immediately to react to that situation while we make progress.
Right, we're trying to clarify that connection there with the SOS, and immediately we confirm that he's here. We'll definitely take the question. All right, SOS is here. Good evening, Secretary Chi. Can you hear me? Please confirm you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very well, loud and clear. I don't know. Were you able to see the video we just played?
Um, well, I did not see the video, but if it's the same video that has been circulating on social media, I should have an idea of that.
All right. Of course, you should. Now, whenever there is trouble in your jurisdiction, of course, we rush to it because we know that you have solutions to all of these issues. Now, what is your department doing to stop some of these issues already, especially with the behavior of the ADF?
Yes, well, let me start. Let me greet Ambazonians and fellow televiewers. It's a privilege once more to be back here. I am more than sad to say when I see the way some of us are handling our fellow denizens on the ground. It's just so aching. When I looked at that video and the explanation was that it was the handwork of uh, people that are expected to fight to liberate homeland and give our own people that opportunity to live a decent life. They are the ones perpetrating such things, you know. causing havoc in the society. You know, these are peaceful citizens of Ambazonia that were going about their business, um, that are equally working so hard to pay their dues, because most of our brothers and sisters, our parents back home, they contribute in this revolution, you know. But then to come to seize their properties and mismanage them in that way, to create that kind of a scene where we have two young Amazonians fighting for their life at a critical level, lying in the hospital, we don't know who is going to pay the hospital bills. That is very, very aching. And we want to condemn that kind of attitude with all our strength. The interim government is vehemently condemning that kind of attitude, whether it's coming from the ADF or it's coming from any group that is fighting on the ground or that claims to be fighting on the ground. We are condemning such acts because those are acts of vandalism. We cannot continue to vandalize our own people. We are fighting to protect the land, and if we keep messing with the people that occupy the land, then why are we fighting? So my word to who in this, be it ADF, I know the speaker on the scene said those were ADF fighters, and I think Capo Daniel in one audio claimed to say those were not ADF fighters. But I think the community knows these people better than me and you. I am not in that community. I rely on account from the community, and I see no reason why that speaker or whoever was giving us that commentary from the ground, I do not see any reason why he will be lying to say this was ADF if he wasn't sure of what he saw there. So please, I'm really calling on Ambazonians to be honest to ourselves, and where we make mistakes, we should accept and get the corrective actions that can help, rather than protect and claim that, oh, it wasn't done by a group of people, but yet those on the scene are reporting with live videos. So we strongly condemn that.
All right. All right, all right. We've heard that from the Secretary of State for Self-Defense and National Security. This is a cause where we're trying to build, not to vandalize. Well, my first question will be going to Mr. Ta, our news director. I want to get your political perspective in regards to the ADF and ARFs. Do you think collaborations between the ARFs and the ADF could avoid this insensitivity on the ground?
Star Smart, thank you for that question. This question was asked the president over the weekend, and I may just have to repeat what he said, which I think it makes a lot of sense. It is unfortunate that we will have to refer to those that are armed as proxy fighters of French Cameroon. Now, the involvement of this particular group of individuals with the warlords in the diaspora managing them, the interim government would have to distance themselves from them, because the interim government has professionals, legal minds, who advises the ARFs, I'm talking about the Amazonian Restoration Forces, to respect the Geneva Convention. During wartime, there are laws that are to be respected and that must be respected. When you defy certain laws during an armed conflict, you face the law. So the fact that you pick up arms to defend yourself, I wonder if the ADF is defending themselves because they do not act like defense forces. First of all, they have pickups purportedly given to them by French Cameroons. They have strange deals with French Cameroon. A few days ago, they were pretending to do some things with French Cameroon. They have purportedly been managing CPDM officials' properties on the ground outrightly. We are told that some of their chiefs and heads have constant communications with Colonel Banqui. So it's difficult that they hold a flag and they have the name. You cannot outrightly say they're Amazonians. It would be correct to say they're proxy. It is the colonial military proxy in Amazonia. Therefore, this makes it complicated, if not possible, for there to be a paper or handwriting or verbal or whatever form of collaboration between that set of individuals with the Amazonian Restoration Forces who are law abiding. Now, Mr. Cho Ayaba would want to use this rhetoric to deceive Amazonians by telling them that the interim government is dividing the fighters on the ground. That's not true. There is a framework created by this interim government. That is the best I have seen anywhere in the world during a guerrilla warfare where people are defending themselves. It is the Amba Peace Plan. The Amba Peace Plan makes it in such a way that the people know those vigilantes, volunteers who have taken the courage to defend them. That's one of the basic ways of understanding the Amba Peace Plan. Another way you can understand the Amba Peace Plan is that it helps to limit infiltration. Now, the block by block and disunity warriors have fostered infiltration. As we speak right now, more fighters of Ambazonia within the past 2-3 months have been wasted by this so-called setup called the Unity Warriors. The president calls them the Unity Palace Warriors, and that's what it is. It is a ploy to destroy our people. Very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taff, for that analysis. We move on with the news. Sister of the Colonial Regional Delegate of Penitentiary Administration that was beheaded by the ADF, so-called Unity Warriors, has rained curses on the peoples of her native village of Unso in Bui County, especially those involved in the Amazonian conflict. Isn't this a paradox, sir?
Only it is not only paradoxical, it is hypocritical as well. But before we get into that, Kiga Theodore Kume was killed by the Cho Ayaba Bankuri terrorist gang on April 12, 2022, alongside 2 of his colleagues. His sister was speaking in a video recorded on her farm in the USA, where she is based with her husband. Zioness Kume is also sister to Immaculate Kume, a high-ranking member of the Amazonian Governing Council, AGOVC.
Amongst other things, the bereaved stated that the conflict has become an avenue for lazy people targeting hard-working ones. You people are fighting a war and you have never killed a fly in Yaoundé, Zion says. It is unfortunate and shameful that she would make such statements when her sister, Immaculate Kume, supported Ayabacho for killing other Amazonians. One would have expected her to come out boldly, with such utterances.
You know what I think, Onyi? Such preposterous statements only come from individuals who are self-centered and short-sighted. Just watch the sickening video and hear the comments for yourself.
We have a farm for Ghana called Freedom for America. Shit. No useless Amazonia, no pass ever can kill me, said for he thief my cow. Useless thing. Miserable bands of people. When I kill my brother, when I can't kill my America, myself. Useless thing. See, I don't get time for shit on Facebook. They find cheap fame, dirty popularity, or blood from my hand, and they do that kind of thing.